Nick, it was quite a comeback for your team yesterday, and you could sense the emotion from you afterwards. What made you so emotional about seeing Jalen Hurts have that opportunity and then come through?
Well, it's really kind of unprecedented in college football for a guy to go win 26 games and then not have his job anymore. He's done so much for this program. I think he's handled things with such high character and class in the way he's supported his teammates this year. It was great to see him get an opportunity, even though Tua has been one of the best players in college football all year long. It was great for Jalen to take advantage of the moment, and he did a fabulous job when he got the opportunity to get in there those last two drives.
And what do we know about Tua's injury right now, where that stands?
Right, well, we did an MRI this morning. He has a high ankle sprain. The way we've treated those here, and we think Dr. Andrews and Dr. Kane do a really good job with our players, is to scope those things, and it helps the healing process. Most of the guys that have had this done, it's about a 2-week deal. So hopefully by the time we start practicing again, Tua will be back on the field and ready to go.
Yeah, this matchup against Oklahoma, and like your offense, they too have been among the most dynamic offenses in the country. I think many would say your two offenses have been the two best. How much have you seen of Oklahoma and Kyler Murray in this offense?
Well, I haven't seen a lot, but I've heard a lot, and I did watch a little of the game yesterday before we went to our game, and they're pretty dynamic group. They've got a lot of weapons. They make a lot of explosive plays. We played against him a little bit when he was at A&M, and he is a very dynamic guy in terms of his athletic ability, his quickness, his ability to make plays with his feet, and he's turned into a really, really efficient passer who has good skill guys to make good plays to go along with the rest of their weapons.
Coach, I'm just curious, the story about Jalen it's almost a Hollywood script. What did you say, if anything? I know things happen very quickly. When he went out, or maybe after, was there an exchange with you and him about the moment before or after that you'll always remember?
Well, what I said to him when we went out on the field, I said, this is your time now. All right, this is what we've talked about all year long, that this may happen at some point in time, and you're going to have the opportunity. That's why we've played you a lot to get you ready for this. This is why you worked all year to improve, and Jalen has improved a tremendous amount this year. So it was great for me to see. I love both of these guys. They've done great things for our program, and I hated that Tua got hurt in the game, but it was very, very emotional for me to see Jalen have the opportunity and take advantage of it, and our team and our fans respond to him in a positive way.
Along those lines, Nick, as the last Hail Mary from Georgia fell incomplete, the camera cut to you, and Jalen reached in, sort of kind of hugged you and said something to you. In that moment, do you remember what he said?
I didn't, because I was in a position for some reason that I couldn't see whether the ball was incomplete. I saw it get tipped, but I didn't see where it went. So I didn't know if they caught it, we caught it, nobody caught it. So I was a little bit like, and we've lost games. I've lost games as a defensive coordinator and head coach on those, and won games on those kind of plays. So I never take them for granted. So I wish I would have hugged them back, and I certainly would have if I'd have known that ball was incomplete, but it took about 2 seconds for me to figure it out.
Well, your team had blown out everybody, and yesterday was a completely different type of test. How does that benefit your team going into the playoff?
I think there's a lot to learn, but I think people sort of characterized our team as a little bit of front runners because we always got ahead in games and didn't ever have to play from behind, really didn't get in that many close games. But I think this, says something about the competitive character of the team, because we didn't execute extremely well in the game on either side of the ball, but played hard, kept fighting, and got the momentum of the game in the end and made a great comeback. So I think this speaks something about what this team is capable of when they get in a tight game or they get behind in a game. They can show the resiliency to come from behind.
What are your initial thoughts about facing Alabama?
Well, they're a great team. I mean, that's pretty obvious. They've been, they've had a great run and a historic run in college football over the last several years with with Coach Saban, and I know this team is fantastic. We'll be looking forward to the challenge, though. I mean, that's what these games should be like. You know, different champions from all over across the country. You know, great programs that have such strong histories going against each other. Great individual matchups all across the field. I mean, that's what the whole college football playoff is all about. That's why our sport is the best sport on earth.
Capital One Orange Bowl's on December 29th, Alabama and Oklahoma. Lincoln, we've talked a little bit about this, that the football's changed a bit, and there are some that might look at the numbers that your defense has allowed at times this year and wonder about it, but the game's changed. I even had a friend compare it to the way the Golden State Warriors win in basketball, that if you can score that much, your defense doesn't have to be old school. What do you think about where we are, state of the sport, and how it impacts the ability to win a championship?
Yeah, no, it's definitely changed some. I think in that there's the offensive numbers are so historic right now. You know, not just from some of the top offenses, but I mean everybody's better than they were 15 or 20 years ago. The numbers are better. The game has changed, and so the way you define it maybe is a little bit different. But at the end of the day, it's still a combination of your team offensively, defensively, and special teams. You know, how do you win games? How do you score more points than the other team? And so that formula hasn't changed, but the numbers are a little bit different. And so, you know, we found a way to do it here. We feel like we're still getting better. I thought we had one of our best defensive performances of the year yesterday. We needed it at the most critical time, and they made those plays. So we got to continue to find ways to win, and our guys have done that, and proud of what we've accomplished so far.